it is the case because when you build an Angular application, and we did it on day 1 or day 2, I compiled my code, I think, and we ended up with a main.js, right? And that's our compiled code, which means the entire code for everything in my application ends up in one single file. So if you end up with 200 components and dozens of services and directives and pipes and all of that, all of them end up in one single JavaScript file if you don't change anything. Which means when the user navigates to your application for the first time, they have to download the entire code of every single component, pipe, directive, service of the app, even if they end up never using them, right? Which is the opposite of performance, right? Having to download lots of code that you maybe gonna end up using 10% of it doesn't seem like a good idea. So lazy loading allows us to fix that, because with lazy loading, what's gonna happen is that this main file is gonna get divided into pieces. We can divide that file into chunks, and those chunks, they come from lazy loading. And so that lazy loading is router-based, which means what we can do here is say, hey, when we navigate to checkout, well, that's at that point that you're going to load the checkout component. We don't need it upfront. We don't need it when we start the application, when we display that license plate store. Only a few people are going to buy and check out. So that component, we're going to load it on demand later when we get to that point of having to check out. So lazy loading is going to do exactly that. It's going to defer the loading of that component so that it's not in the main chunk of code of our application, but it has its own chunk that gets loaded a little bit later.